Cooper Flagg, we can't stop talking about this young kid, right? He scored 45 points Saturday to lead Dallas past the Lakers 134 to 128, right? Snapping the Mavs 14 game home losing streak. That's his record breaking third 40-point game as a teenager, more than any other player in the NBA history right now. So, Matthew, after watching Flagg this season, is he going to be as good as advertised or even better? Like, we're not even seeing the best of him yet, right?
Well, that's absolutely right, because they always get better in their second year. The ones that are like generational talents, like their shooting splits go way up, always in that second year. I mean, whether you look at LeBron or Carmelo or even KD, who came in the league a good shooter, but if you look at generally, you look at these great players and you look at their shooting numbers their first year, whether they were the man or not, or like whether they got their touches or not, or got their points or not, you'll find that they hover in the low 40s and the general shooting, and then in the 3-point, it's like the high 20s or the low 30s.
Right.
Cooper Flagg, his 3-pointer has not been there. Everything else has been there,
right.
And he can get to the rim basically at will at this point. I mean, he's shooting 47% from the field, which is great for a rookie, only shooting 29 from three, which I think, with more touches, that goes up. Especially the one thing they say to judge if somebody is actually a good shooter and maybe just taking poor shots because they're a rookie is their free throw percentage. And he's shooting 82% from the free throw line. So I think he's not a bad shooter. It's just,
right.
When you're rookie, sometimes you take some bad shots. The selection's not great. You get some of the rookie nerves that you don't get as you're in your second, third, fourth, fifth year.
Right.
So I definitely expect the 3-point percentage to shoot up. Now, here's what I want to talk about, though, because here's what I'm worried about. Because, my favorite in the rookie of the year race is Knueppel, because he's setting all kinds of rookie records, and he's on the team that's going to be in the playoffs, where the Mavericks are on a team. Cooper Flagg is on the Mavericks, a team that is a lottery team. But when you look at Cooper Flagg, let's pull up his last 5 games, 45, 51, 19, 12, 24. But to have 45 and a 51, and again, those numbers on 19 to 30 and 14 to 27. So, just really dominating from every area of the field, even from 3-point in those games. Then Knueppel having some of his worst games of the year, including the other day in a win against the Timberwolves, 4 of 14 from the field, only 11 points. And also LaMelo and Miles dominated. So that's going to give credence, because sometimes when I see the online chatter, they say, well, Knueppel's not even the best player on his team, which I find debatable. But if he keeps having games that they're winning, where he's only scoring 10 points, and LaMelo and Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges are going off, then people are going to want to revert and give it to Cooper Flagg, who's dominating now. Different games, they're still losing a lot of games, so it's not like he's dominating night in and night out. He had a 12-point game 3 games ago.
So Matthew, let me ask you this. So is it kind of like Denise Jenkins is getting a shine? Because just like how we said with Cade getting hurt, right? Like you said, he had 16 and 14 the other day, right? Would he even be a rookie of the year candidate if Street Clothes Davis wasn't shipped off and Kyrie Irving wasn't hurt? Because honestly, he would have took a back seat to them. I think it was a blessing in disguise. That one guy is gone and he's hurt, that he gets to shine and take over the team.
But you know what? When you're the generational prospect, the narrative kind of shifts in your favor, whether it's fair or not. So even if he was the third best player on a team with a healthy Kyrie and a healthy AD, then I think the argument shifts to, he's contending and he's being a star in his role. And look at this prospect being a star in his role and being on a contending team. So I think he always, whether you want to play from the winning element or you want to play from the numbers element, he's always going to have an advantage over Knueppel because of who he is, because he's a huge name, phenom, generational prospect. So I think either way, because right now it feels like maybe it was 50-50 like 4 days ago, but now it feels like with the 51-point game and the 45-point game mixed with some struggles for Knueppel, it feels like Flagg's the favorite again. And I do feel that if he was on a contending team, that he would be the favorite as well, because
Yeah.
the deck is certainly stacked in his favor. Because I think in a fair race, I think Knueppel wins. That this team has sucked historically for so many years, and they get this great 3-point shooter, and now they're the hottest team
Yeah.
in the league.
All right.
That's
Well,
okay.
all right, let's see
Okay.
it this way, Matthew. So the record angle is impressive, right? But what stands out on film is how little he needs to manufacture those points. So he's not forcing anything, like you said. He's reading defensively. He's exploiting mismatches. He's finishing through contact at an observed rate as a teenager, right? His free throw attempts per game are actually in the top 15 in the league, which means he's drawing fouls at like almost like an all-star level, right? The one thing holding back the Rookie of the Year case is Dallas's record. But the individual production is already at a level that most players don't reach until the 4th or 5th year.
Yeah, I mean, he has some nights. He went 5 for 19 the other night. Like, he's not shooting the 3 ball well. He has some weaknesses, but he's the bona fide leader of his team. And so he's going to get the opportunities. He's going to get the touches because, like the second and third best players on his team are like PJ Washington and, Daniel Gafford and, guys that are like real good role players, but they are role players. So he's going to get the opportunity every night to have the spectacular performance in a way that Knueppel is just not going to have on a team with Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, 3 other legitimate B+ players, maybe LaMelo an A- player, but 3 other legitimate, not superstars, but potential stars in the right role. And so you can't hold that against Knueppel. I think that he doesn't get the opportunity because his team is contending and wants to win. So the coach has to draw up the strategies in a way that are conducive to winning, where if you're Jason Kidd, you can just draw stuff up to give Cooper Flagg a chance to get his feet wet and do different things in different situations. So it's hard to weigh them against each other, and it's maybe going to get held against Knueppel that he's on a winning team that's not just going to give him the ball every